all of my esteemed classmates, their friends and family, and the faculty and staff of Smithtown High School West, I send a warm and truly heartfelt welcome. It is my honor to help commence my class today on a milestone that my peers have worked toward for a long time, during which I have had the privilege to witness their intellectual and emotional growth. Trust me, there are some of us who have been able to maintain success with minimal effort, and kudos to them, but for the most of us, our ethic has been unparalleled. I've seen firsthand how passionate these men and women have become about their education, and I am not alone in applauding that. This is a crowd full of great intellectuals, great personalities, but most importantly, kind and compassionate people. We have finally understood the value of being human, and with that understanding, we have ascended to a new level of emotional awareness. But this emotional change, this maturation, has brought with it an unintentional and rather unfortunate byproduct. Some call it realism, others pessimism, but regardless of what it's called, it has somehow encouraged the deterioration of hope. I'm not trying to sound dramatic. This isn't the same as giving up on life as a whole, but it's actually the toning down of our dreams to fit a more practical, realistic, or adult model. I can remember subscribing to the idea that I can be the very best, like no one ever was. But I also thought catching them was my real test and training them my cause. To be honest, I don't remember when I gave up on that idea, the idea that one day I could be the very best in the world, but I bet it was recently. I can guarantee that if you were to ask almost anyone at this ceremony if they believed they could be the best in the world at doing anything, they would probably laugh. It's naive, isn't it? Immature? Will this new way of thinking redefine our lives, turning us into horribly realistic and robotically practical people? Writer Catherine Drinker Bowen once wrote, "Many a man who has known himself at 10 forgets himself utterly between 10 and 30. I think it's worth noting that I believe we are our truest at young ages before the temptations of conformity and even the concern of being stigmatic can tighten their grip and mask our true personalities. During that time, we have our most extraordinary hopes and can hardly be discouraged. I don't know about you, but I can remember imagining myself sitting atop some kind of throne, managing some sort of organization with unchallenged power. When did I stop believing that? Well, with respect to our friends at the CIA, I'll acknowledge that that's not still a goal of mine. But seriously, when did we give up trying to compete with Mark Wren, trying to be the next Steve Jobs or even the next LeBron James? Probably in high school, and I truly mean no harm in those words. The teachers I've had have all been the most passionate and motivating mentors I've ever hoped for. They encouraged us that, with hard work, we could really be the best we could be. Somewhere along the line, though, we gave ourselves a limit of how good that actually is. We filled our minds with odds and statistics, using terms like slim chances or virtually impossible. Despite all of that, ambition is alive and well in each and every one of us. We have replaced the hopes of our youth with attainable goals, a euphemism for setting your expectations low, though. After all, you won't be as disappointed if you don't reach them. What really pains me is the great potential that you all have that would be wasted on these attainable goals. You will be driven, and you will be ambitious, but you could focus those two powerful tools on unworthy causes. Safe bets. Last year in AP Physics, I learned something. And hey, that's pretty interesting in and of itself. But anyway, I learned that you can achieve the greatest horizontal distance by firing at 45 degrees. I'll be frank, I'm not a very strategic person, and at times I'm a little slow on the uptake. At first, I fired my projectile at 0 degrees, which is straightforward, hoping, well, I don't really know what I was hoping, but I just did it. Needless to say, the results were lackluster, but even to me, it was obvious that I shouldn't point it straight up at 90 degrees. After all, assuming there was no wind in the windowless basement dungeons of science classrooms we have, the marble would have just fallen back down and hit the launch position. At the end of the day, we all accepted the nonsense in a 90-degree shot and all fired at 45 degrees. In our careers, most of the people you encounter will be shooting at 45 degrees. These efficient, calculating people with a competitive background and who knows what. Others may shoot lower, but the people that really matter will be the ones that shoot at 90 degrees. I want you to be these people, knowing the potential risk of failure, but embracing the possibility that, hey, you may just shoot your marble all the way up to the moon. The good news is that we have the tools. We've all had the privilege of learning at a top-rate educational institution with truly zealous and knowledgeable teachers that were invested in our success every step of the way. We would complain quite often about their tests, or homework, or a combination of the both. But when related to the rest of the country's schools, the graduates of whom we'll be competing with, we really are fortunate. We have had a remarkable number of opportunities and triumphs in both extracurricular, academics, and athletics, things that should remind us of our true ability. There is absolutely no reason that we should give up on the dreams of our childhood, even though high school has been a trying period. It has taught us more than just knowledge and methods of analysis, but has also encouraged more jaded outlooks. Familiar cliches like follow your dreams seem more and more hacky. Try to transcend these kinds of thought traps. I don't care if anyone calls me naive. I know you can do it. Finally, I must remind you that the beatings will continue in college. But if your heart's true, your courage will pull you through. Stay you, Smithtown West's class of 2013, because if you do, you really will be the very best, like no one ever was. And you might even catch them all. Thank you again, and congratulations.